Welcome to LawPath's legal education videos. My name is Damin Murdock. I've been a lawyer for more than 10 years. Today we're talking about genuine redundancy. What is it? How does it apply? What do you need to know about it? Now, a genuine redundancy is defined in section 3889 of the Fair Work Act. The elements are in front of me, and basically it says that a person's employer no longer requires a person's job to be performed by anyone because of changes in the operational requirements of the employer's enterprise, and the employer has complied with any obligation under a modern award or enterprise agreement that applied to the employment, and a person's dismissal is not a case of genuine redundancy if it would have been reasonable in all other circumstances for that person to be reemployed within the employer's business. So what do those three things mean? So first of all, an employee or the employer no longer needs that role to be done due to change in operational requirements by anybody. Now, they changed the definition a few years back because originally it used to just say a genuine redundancy is where the role is no longer required to be performed. And then there was a ton of case law in the federal court trying to redefine what genuine redundancy means and how does it apply. And in essence, what it means is that if you have an organization and you have, let's say, 3 people and another person on top, and you decided to restructure your business and 2 of the people assumed the duties of the third person, which ultimately made that third role redundant, then that is a genuine redundancy. Because although the duties are still needed to be performed by somebody, that position and that role is no longer required. And therefore it's a genuine redundancy. So it's not just that the job doesn't need to be done, that job can still be performed, but it can be performed by you delegating that job to other people and dispersing it amongst other people, which results in that one position no longer being required. So oftentimes a redundancy is 1, you've lost a contract, you don't need that person anymore. 2, there's been a downfall in your turnover, and this video is in 2020, so during COVID times, which means that as a result you've lost a lot of work, you need to make cutbacks, and as a result of those cutbacks, you're trying to reshuffle those roles, change your organizational structure, and reduce the amount of people. Sometimes it's when you just bought a new machine, and because you bought a new machine, you don't need that person. Now, when you do decide that you're going to make someone redundant, it then becomes a question of how do you choose that one person? How do you know that one role is the role that's supposed to be redundant? What happens if you have 5 or 10 people all doing the same thing? How do you choose amongst those 5 or 10 people who is actually going to be the person that becomes redundant? And in these circumstances, I always recommend to my clients to create a matrices. That is, you do a column down below, name of the staff all the way across, and you go through each staff member. What's their role? What's their salary? How long have they been employed for? Pros, cons, how do they do with their reviews? Do they show up on time? Are they outperforming the others? Are they making more sales? And you go through and you look and decide which person is likely going to be the appropriate person for the redundancy based on you doing a matrices of comparing all the different individuals. And also, once you compare those individuals, who can assume what roles and what qualifications they have and how much years of experience do they have. Now, once you do that, if they are an employee under a modern award, you then have a duty under the award, which is normally clause 8, that says a duty to consult. So the next step is for you to inform the people who are at risk of being made redundant, and you tell them, it looks like there will be some redundancies, and we need to decide which one of you are going to be made redundant, and we're going to consult with you about your current situation, whether you're open to any other position, what other skills you might have, what other qualifications you might have, and determining if their role was to be made redundant, are they suitable for another role? and that gets into the redeployment obligation. You have to consider whether that employee is suitable for any other role. I always use the example is that they could be suitable for a custodian job, and a lot of people, if they're elder, they need a job, and it might be very difficult for them to find another job. And even if that job is less salary and less duties, you still have an obligation to offer that to them, because they might want that job rather than nothing. So what is a genuine redundancy? It's when you legitimately have organizational change. You do need to reduce the headcount in your business. You have consulted with the employee. Whether they're on a modern award or not, you should generally consult them as well and understand their position. And if you've made a decision to terminate them on grounds of redundancy, then the next one is to make sure there's no other position that might be suitable for them within the organization. And if then you've decided to make someone redundant, then Section 119 of the Fair Work Act outlines the notice that you need to pay them, and 117 is the notice period for ending termination employment as well, and you must pay them the notice under Section 117 and the notice under Section 119. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions, visit www.lawpath.com.au. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.